What's up, bros and broettes? Welcome back, MG in the BOD. MG, always to my right. What the hell's going on, bro?
I am super excited for this show. Episode 5. We made it through 5 episodes, Joe.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
It's been
I'm starting to get noticed on the streets.
You know what? A lot of people have said things
And not
to
just
me.
for being fat.
Right.
I'm actually getting noticed.
Right.
You know the number one question I get?
What?
It's not, are you that good looking in person? It's not. You would think it is, but it's not.
Yeah, most of the time I would.
Most of the questions I get is directed towards you. They want to know what the BOD stands for.
Oh, you could tell them.
I'm going to tell them right now.
Let the world know.
I'm going to tell them right now.
Let the world know.
For the better part of 25, 26 years we've been
Disgusting
friends.
time period.
Yeah, but way too long I've been friends with you. But for the better part of 25 years, Joseph Chiarappa has been known as the BOD, which is not what you think it is, because it's not the BOD.
It's close, though.
It's close.
It's close,
The
though.
BOD stands for Bag of Donuts.
That's right.
Which you look like you ate.
Well, I have.
Every day of your life.
It's going to be a heart attack soon. Something needs to stop, people.
So to answer that question, Joey the BOD is Joey Bag of Donuts.
And MG is Matt Gabbola.
That's
so
pretty self-explanatory.
We all know who could have fun with their name here.
Pretty
Clearly,
self-explanatory.
that's the kid on the left. You're right, folks. Let's get into some questions. We have great responses from the email group. Also, we're going to get into shout-outs, a couple trade situations, go over our draft, and then conclude in today's show. But I know we want to hit up the shout-outs first.
We want to get the shout. Well, let's get the shout-outs right out of the way. It's a part of our show that actually people have been taking a very extreme liking to.
Yes.
So let's Facebook shout-outs.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'll go one, you go one.
Absolutely.
Lindsay QCD, thank you for MG in the BOD.
Victor! Mr. Vic Filanino, thank you.
Jamie Grelea.
Linda Liverano, I love you, Aunt.
Joe Gallagher. Joe Gallagher has been shouting us out on Facebook. He's also the head of Generals Nation, MacArthur Football. And MacArthur Football has actually been interested in MG in the BOD too. We love you, Joe Gallagher. Thank you.
If you want a live show, let us know. We're more than welcome to appease the crowd. Timmy Harrington, my college roommate, awful Madden player. Thinks he's good. He had to be shown up so bad.
He's got 2 first names.
Yeah, can't really trust that kid.
Nicole Filanino, sister-in-law. Thank you.
She's a gem. Kevin Reardon, P. Fenton Cosgrove.
He's a Muppet.
I don't want to even say thank you to him, but we'll just acknowledge.
We have to. You know what? We have to. We said we would. It's contractual.
Right. I know. You're right.
And Anne-Marie Marino, big Steelers fan.
Really?
Big Steelers. Yeah, big Steelers. Yeah, she's
good people?
She's good people.
All right. We like her already. And last but not least, one of my personal favorites, Miss Liz Flynn.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Miss Elizabeth.
Miss Elizabeth. Who? Yeah. We love you, Liz. You know that.
That concludes the shout-outs. We do appreciate everybody spreading the word each and every week, and if you do it, we'll shout you out on our next episode. Let's get right into some emails here.
Go ahead.
Our first email is from John Meyer. How are you guys?
So far, so good, John.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Big fan. I had a question concerning the Jets on the upcoming season. Do you think C.J. Spiller is a good fit for the Jets, or do you think Ivory and Powell, the combo of Ivory and Powell, will suffice? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to start here.
Go ahead, take it away.
C.J. Spiller would be a good fit with the Jets, I think, because Chan Gailey's there. He had his best year under Chan Gailey. I personally think Ivory could carry a load, but I think that the special teams presence of Spiller, the third down presence of Spiller, can open things up for a very non-explosive offense. Right now, I think he could add a certain dimension, so I do think it's a very good fit for him there.
Okay, speaking as a Buffalo Bills fan and somebody who watches Spiller, or watched Spiller for his whole career, actually, I don't think he can carry the load by himself.
Agreed.
I think he is an excellent change of pace back. I think in the Jets system he would fit fantastic because of Chris Ivory.
Okay.
And I think under Chan Gailey, he could find that magic that he found when Chan Gailey was with the Bills.
New change of scenery, maybe a little payback for the Bills. If he goes to the Jets, it could be something interesting to watch. Matt, we have a 3-parter from Mike Bartnicki. He writes in.
He's a winner.
Oh, well, we know that. First question, do you think Dallas lets DeMarco Murray test free agency? If so, do you think they replace him through the draft, free agency, or take a chance somewhere else? Part 3. Based on your answer to number 2, who do you think they sign, trade, or draft as a replacement?
All right. It's good questions. Good questions. I think that the Cowboys. I mean, obviously, we're getting into Tuesday's the deadline, which is tomorrow. Tuesday's the deadline for free agency when it begins. I think they're going to let him test free agency. I think DeMarco Murray is going to get out there and he's going to quickly see that the market for running backs, which I don't agree with, but the market for running backs is just not the market for any other player on the field. I don't know why. It's just the NFL we play in today. I don't think he's going to get a big deal. I don't think he's going to go back to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to address their running back situation through the draft. And actually, in my mock 2.0, I have the Dallas Cowboys taking Gurley.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. That's a good fit, too. I agree with you, pretty much everything you said. Dallas will let him test free agency unless he can come back on a hometown discount. Mark Ingram just got 4 years, $16 million, so it's a good scale to go off of right now. But I don't agree with you about running backs. Yes, you need one, but value is there later in drafts, and I'm not willing to pay for one if my team is in cap trouble. That's why I think DeMarco Murray, when it's all said and done, could end up in Jacksonville. Of course, they have a boatload of money.
They have under the new collective bargaining agreement. These teams have to spend a minimum. I believe the percentage is 89% of the cap they have to spend. So they're going to be throwing money at players, just absolutely throwing money at players. So yeah, he might end
overpaying,
up,
which is
they're going to overpay.
Awful.
He might end up in Jacksonville. You know,
he could.
Last email question here.
Okay.
Carl from Ronkonkoma.
Hi, Carl.
Hi, Carl. 5 years from now, who will be the better wide receiver, Kevin White or Amari Cooper?
Okay. I'm going to say Amari Cooper, and here's my reasons. One, he comes from Alabama. Usually a run-first team, and they're usually up, which means that the passing opportunities don't occur as often. I feel that his youth, he's only 20 years old, and he was a starter for 4 years. His route tree is greater than Kevin White's, although Kevin White can establish a larger route tree. But the safe play, 5 years from now, the safer play, I would take Cooper all day over Kevin White.
I'm going to slightly disagree with you, not completely disagree with you. I think Amari Cooper is the more polished wide receiver. I think he is more NFL ready than Kevin White. But my God, did Kevin White open my eyes a little bit during the combine. And again, you know I hate the combine.
Yeah.
I'm not a big combine guy, but you know when you run a 4.3 40, 4.4 40, and you're as big and as strong as Kevin White showed, he was a first-round pick to begin with before the combine. And I think in my opinion, he jumped ahead of Amari Cooper. So the question is 5 years from now. 5 years from now, I'd probably give it to Kevin White. I think Amari Cooper is going to be the better pro in the beginning.
Okay. For me, it's Kevin White came from a JUCO school, from a passing offense, playing from behind, so he has more opportunities. What Cooper did, it's outstanding. And 5 years from now, when one's 27, the other's 25, I still pick Cooper.
Agreed.
So that's how
agreed.
This has been so far a very big week in the NFL. Like absurd.
We are literally we are filming right now, and we're coming to you not so live. You know, the people that know the production of MG and the BOD, we normally film on Sundays and we upload them on Mondays. But today is Sunday, and we had a really big signing today, Joe.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Dominican Sue to Miami, huge deal. Huge, $114 million, I believe, over 7 years.
Which you knew he was going to get.
Right. The guaranteed money is astronomical for a defensive tackle. And it's a good play for Miami. They had the money. They make a play for a potential. Well, he already is a game changer. You have to work your offensive game plan around him. It's a good signing for them.
It's a great signing for Miami. In my 2.0, I actually I had Miami taking Malcolm Brown. I had him taking a D tackle. Right before we went to production here, I had to change my my mock a little bit because they're not going to take a D tackle anymore because they just signed the best one on the market. So
well, it's a breaking news today about Sue. I'm thrilled he's out of the NFC North.
Thank you.
He's in
the
that's
NFC
great.
East now, which
You're
is
welcome.
awesome.
And we're going to get another NFC North guy just transferred over to the AFC East.
Everybody's coming over to the AFC
Let's
East.
talk about the New York Jets making the trade for B. Marsh. What do you think?
First off, I love Brandon Marshall. I think he's on the downside of his career, but having said that, I love him. I think his antics in his early professional career are a thing of the past. Mm-hmm. And I do love him, and I think he's a great receiver. And for what the Jets gave up for him, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. It's a fantastic move for the Jets. They gave up a 5th-round pick for him. If Brandon Marshall goes on the field and never plays ever, it doesn't even matter because they gave up a 5th-round pick for him.
Right.
But I do think he's going to actually succeed there. In Jet standards, I don't think you want to draft him in fantasy in the 1st round anymore.
No,
you know,
not at all.
I think he takes a major hit in fantasy, but I do think it's a very good signing for the Jets.
I agree with everything you said. The money's not an issue for them. They're going to go out and continue to spend. Brandon Marshall with Eric Decker, if they decide to move forward Geno Smith for another year, at least they say they went all out.
Yeah.
You know, at least
Listen,
they're giving him the tools to attempt to succeed.
They are giving their fan base at least a little hope.
Right. I think it was.
And I don't think they're done either.
No, not even. Not
I don't
close.
think they're done because they have
Not
they have
close.
a lot of cap room.
Potentially Revis, potentially Cromartie.
Yes.
It could be, you know, the Jets are 2.0 and they're going to AFC championships. So you never know what could happen with
Yeah,
them.
I don't think they're done at all.
And last but not least, your Buffalo Bills making the first large splash in this upcoming 2015 season with a monster trade.
Joe, it's the largest splash the NFL has seen since Portis for
Champ Bailey.
Champ Bailey.
Yeah, that was 11 years ago.
You know, it's very, very rarely in the NFL do you see a stud player traded for a stud player. And some people out there might disagree with me that Kiko Alonso's not a stud player because he only played 1 year. I understand that. He doesn't have a body of work. And he's coming off a knee surgery. I get that. But let me tell you something. Again, as a Buffalo Bill fan, I watched this kid. Kiko Alonso is a fantastic linebacker. He is a game-changing linebacker. And I think he's going to fit in Philly, and he's going to be unbelievable in Philly.
Okay, who do you think got the better end of the trade?
Ultimately, I think the Bills won out on the trade. But as a Bills fan, I think I'd rather have Kiko Alonso because running backs are out there, man. You can find running backs. And I love Kiko Alonso. I don't know how often you find a linebacker out there that changes games. And I think Kiko Alonso changes games.
I agree with you. I don't think that the Bills, by name, they made out in the trade. By player performance, remember, he's not going back with Andy Reid. He doesn't have Chip Kelly. This is a Rex Ryan offense that
He's going to succeed there.
I don't know if he is.
He's going to succeed. He's going to succeed.
What is succeeding considered based off of LaShawn McCoy's past?
LaShawn McCoy is going to rush for over 1,500 yards this year.
I would definitely take the under there.
Well, you know what? You'd probably lose.
Really?
Yeah.
Are we looking at a live bet right now?
You want to bet?
I will, certainly. Lunch?
Steak dinner.
Again?
Steak dinner bet.
Really?
1,500 yards. Over.
Rushing yards?
Rushing over.
Oh, I'll take the under.
Okay.
You just saw it here live, folks.
America. Steak dinner. You've seen it.
No quarterback, 1,500-yard rusher in a Rex Ryan offense.
1,500.
Folks, you know what? Email us who you think is going to win that bet, and maybe I'll let you get like a side order.
What is our email address, Joe?
Let me tell them, Matt. It's mgandthebod@yahoo.com.
Right there at the bottom of the screen through the magic of production.
Email us 24/7. We'll take a look. We might even answer.
We might even put you on the show.
Fingers crossed about that. You have to pray.
About 1,500 yards or on the show?
About being on our show, because we're that good.
We are that good. We're famous.
So we went over a couple of trades and free agent signings. We are on a time limit here. I want to get right into the draft.
Yeah, yo, you know what? Let's speed this up here.
Yeah.
We got to get, last episode, we gave you 1.0. We gave you MG's 1.0. We gave you the BOD's 1.0. We're done with the 1.0, all right? That was pre-combine. Now we filled that out. We're right into 2.0 here. We're going to give you 1 through 16 in this episode. Next episode, we're going to give you 17 through 32. And then we're going to finish off with our final 3.0. But let's get right into it.
Yes.
2.0, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, first overall pick.
Bucks on
Who
the
do you
clock.
got?
I right now still haven't taken Marcus Mariota. I think the Winston thing could be a smokescreen. Going back to the Cooper White comparison, I say 5 years, who's going to give me the better chance of winning? And if I'm Tampa Bay, I do realize that that's Marcus Mariota. Pro ready now may be Winston, but I just think the maturity, the passing capability, and his... Although Winston is very smart as far as IQ of the game, really, I'm not... I think ultimately that the pick is Mariota. And that could change, but I'm going with Marcus Mariota from Oregon.
Okay, now, all affection, I love you.
Right.
I think you're a fool.
Okay, that's fair.
I think you're a fool. I think you're a fool because I don't think Jameis Winston should go first, but everything around me that I'm reading and that I'm seeing with my own two eyes, Jameis Winston is going to be the first overall pick.
Well, you can't make up your own mind. You listen to other people.
Listen to me. You're not a GM, all right?
I could be.
You're the BOD.
I could be.
You're the BOD. We're supposed to inform these people of
Right.
of what we think is going to go number one.
Right.
Number one is going to be Jameis Winston. The Glazers, the owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, invited him over for dinner. When do you invite a prospect over for dinner when you're not going to draft him?
Because you're so nervous. Because it's another interview on top of all the other interviews.
No, listen, he's a Mo. He's a Mo.
Okay.
Okay, but Jameis Winston is going number one.
Okay, fair enough. So we differ there. Number 2, the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans. Here, we're going to differ here too. I have the Tennessee Titans going after Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
I think the Zach Mettenberger, I'm okay with Zach Mettenberger smokescreen is exactly that. I think it's a smokescreen. I think that they have a shot at getting a franchise quarterback. And I agree with you. You have Marcus Mariota going first. I think Marcus Mariota is going to be the better quarterback than Jameis Winston. So if you have a chance to get a franchise quarterback, I think Tennessee's going to do exactly that. I have Tennessee taking Marcus Mariota.
Well, I don't. I have them taking defensive tackle Leonard Williams from USC. Their defense is in shambles. They need the best player in this draft, and that's what Leonard Williams is. He's a force in the middle, and you could build a great defense around him. So that's who I have them taking there.
I agree with you. Leonard Williams is the best player in the draft. You want to move on to number 3.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Leonard Williams because Leonard Williams is night and day. He's the best player in this draft. Pound for pound, he is the best player in this draft. So I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have him taking Leonard Williams.
Well, I'm going to stay on that side of the ball with you, and I'm going to go outside linebacker Dante Fowler Jr. from Florida. Speed, edge rusher, his dynamic that he could bring to a defense, the explosiveness is off the charts.
Guy is absolutely phenomenal.
Open field tackler. So Gus Bradley, that defense, they get another playmaker. They just re-signed Tyson Alualu to a 2-year deal, and they're trying to really build a great Gus Bradley defense.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah, so
you have no argument for me about Dante Fowler. I think he's absolutely fantastic.
Okay, good. Number 4, the Raiders of Oakland. What do you got it for?
Okay, well, I think everybody in America has them drafting a wide receiver. Whether it's Amari Cooper or Kevin White is a coin flip to the rest of America. I think they're going with Kevin White. As I said previously, I think Kevin White established himself as the number 1 wide receiver in this draft. I think he's a little rawer, a little more raw than Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper is a little more polished. But I think the long-term Kevin White is going to be the better receiver long-term.
Okay.
I haven't taken Kevin White.
Okay, I'm going wide receiver Amari Cooper for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. This isn't your normal Al Davis Raiders. This is Reggie McKenzie, who's fighting for his job. This is a winner-take-all type of scenario for him. I think he goes with the safer wide receiver in Amari Cooper from Alabama. Number 5, the Washington Redskins. I'm going to keep them on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
They're losing Brian Orakpo, so it seems, and they need somebody opposite Ryan Kerrigan. I am giving them Shane Ray from Missouri, another explosive edge rusher. He could bring a different passion to the game. He's very vocal. He pumps everybody up around him. Maybe because he's just young. Maybe just
I like
young
Shane Ray.
Thundercat.
I like Shane Ray.
But I'm giving them Shane Ray.
I think he'd fit nice there.
Who do you have?
I have the Washington Redskins taking Dante Fowler here.
Okay.
Who, in my opinion, I'm not going to get back into the whole Dante Fowler thing because you guys know I love him. I think he's the second best player in the draft.
Okay, that's fair enough to say. Moving on.
Number 6, the New York Jets, Joe.
That's right. This is
the New York Jets.
This is where things can get very interesting. Trade possibilities, but you can't mock a trade in a mock draft.
In MG and the BOD, we're not going to mock your trades.
Right.
Me personally, I think the Jets are trading this pick to Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's me personally. I mean, I don't know what you have.
I think it's too early for them to take an offensive lineman. There's no running backs that you take here. With the acquisition of Brandon Marshall, wide receiver, in my opinion, is out. I don't think you take a cornerback here. It's too early for any of the guys in this draft. So I'm giving them best player available on the defensive side of the ball, and that's Vic Beasley from Clemson.
Fantastic player.
What about you?
I haven't taken Trey Waynes. I haven't taken the best cornerback in the draft, in my opinion. Marcus Peters is very close to Trey Waynes, but Trey Waynes is the player being coveted by most of the top half of the draft class.
You know, I know that the game has changed, but, Revis wasn't a top 10 pick. I don't think Trey Waynes is even in that realm when Revis came out.
He's nowhere near the realm of Revis.
But we're going to put a cornerback who's at best, and he had Darquez Denard opposite him last year. To me, it's not a value-based pick there with Trey.
But you know today's NFL, Joe. Today's NFL,
it's a pass-happy league.
Quarterbacks go higher than they should, and cornerbacks go higher than they should. That's just today's NFL.
Okay, and that's why it's a mock draft.
Am I wrong?
That's why it's a mock draft. You can't be wrong in your opinion. It's a mock draft. That's what's great about this. For my money, I wouldn't do it, but I understand your point of view. Moving on, number 7, NFC North, Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears, they need help on the defense.
Yeah.
And if they could draft 11 guys at number 7, I think they would. Because their defense is absolutely toilet-worthy.
Yeah,
it's really bad. And it's sad because, as people who are trying to give you fantasy advice, the Chicago Bears were always the best fantasy defense, right? You always wanted the Chicago Bears in fantasy. Like, they always put up a ton of points. They need defensive help. I haven't taken D-tackle Danny Shelton from Washington.
I have the same exact player. They may lose Stephen Pahe, who is a pretty good run stopper, but he's only a 2-down player. Danny Shelton may be the same thing as a 2-down player, but I think that he takes on 2 and 3 people every play.
He's fantastic.
I mean, that frees up your linebacker. So a mediocre linebacker just becomes better because he's taking on 2 or 3 guys. So I think he becomes your face of the defense.
So we have the same player there.
Yeah, Danny Shelton.
All right. Number 8, Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, my God. This team needs
You want me to go?
No, I want to go.
Oh, go.
This team needs defense. I have them taking an outside linebacker, Randy Gregory from Nebraska. I think whoever they have as their best defensive player, that's who they take. That's how bad that defense is.
Is it worse than Chicago's?
Yes, it is.
If you put Chicago's defense and Atlanta's defense together, do you think we can get a starting caliber defense?
No.
No, I don't think so
No,
either.
I don't.
I don't think so either.
I think that the defense would still be bad.
I think so. I agree
on
with
that
you.
Falcon-Bear combo.
I agree with
it's
you.
awful. They just don't have anybody. So that's why I haven't taken Randy Gregory there.
I actually, I have the same exact pick as you, Joe.
I hate his weight.
Right. He was very light in the combine, but I just read a couple days ago that he actually was sick. I don't know if that forces you to lose 50 pounds.
But he's 6'6", 235 edge rusher.
At 235 is very light.
I mean, you look at
that's
Fowler.
like me, Joe. I'm like 235.
Yeah, no, you play just like Randy Gregory too.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you look at Dante Fowler, who's 6'3", 260, and you got Randy Gregory, 6'6", 235. Where's the power coming from?
Yeah, 235
Athletically, that's why you could make the case for this pick in the top 10.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Randy Gregory. I think he's a flash-in-the-pan player. But we have to go off of what we read because we're not at the combines or inside the GM rooms, war rooms.
Maybe someday we will be.
Call us or email us.
Hey, Jim Irsay, call us.
Give them the email again just in case they forgot.
mgandthebod@yahoo.com. Email us. Jim Irsay, email us.
Yeah, get us in there. You guys need us.
I know. I'm only singling out Jim Irsay because I know he'd call us. He'd be on the same page as us.
Okay, that's fair enough. Who'd you have at 9 for the Falcons?
8 for the Falcons. I had Randy Gregory.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same pick. Now we're at 9. New York Giants.
Splash time.
It's splash time.
Splash time. Cannonball.
I'm going to take it.
Go ahead.
All right? I'm going to take it. The New York Football Giants, if there's one thing that they do, they take the best player available. Okay? That's just what they do. Last year, they took Odell Beckham, and I know a couple Giants fans that hated the pick. They absolutely hated the pick. They said, why are you drafting a wide receiver when we don't need one? And look what Odell Beckham did. Well, guess what, Giant fans? I have you taking another wide receiver this year. Okay? I have you taking Amari Cooper because he is the best player left in my mock draft. Giants taking Amari Cooper.
Okay. Same position. I have them taking Kevin White, West Virginia.
All right.
Ben McAdoo offense. You need 2 and 3 dominant wide receivers. He knows that coming from the Packers.
And who knows how Cruz is going to come back.
You don't know. And I don't know Randall's contract situation off the top of my head, but you have to start planning for your future too. And if you're going to be an offensive powerhouse, you need playmakers, and both guys are playmakers.
Absolutely. Number 10,
yep.
St. Louis Rams.
St. Louis Rams. The only place I think this kid can succeed is with Coach Jeff Fisher. I haven't taken Jameis Winston from Florida State. He goes to a team with a great defense. Not a lot of weapons, but free agency is still open, or opens Tuesday. And they have picks later on where you can still get wide receiver value in the second and third round. So Jameis Winston is my pick there to the Rams.
Okay. St. Louis Rams. Offensive line help they need.
Okay, Yoda. Really?
That was a little Yoda. I think they take the best offensive lineman on the board, Brandon Scherf from Iowa.
He's so good, I think.
He's fantastic.
He's so good. You know, we said it a couple episodes ago. You want a lineman from Iowa. They're just disgusting maulers. Like, they're just gross people who plow.
They're cornbread.
They plow people down.
They just wake up in the morning and they field farm stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't even know what that means.
Who cares? But I know what you mean, Matt. Number 11, the Minnesota Vikings. What do you got here?
Another team that I think is desperate on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. Not that they're great on the offensive side of the ball, because they're not. But I think they take Landon Collins here. I think they need help in the secondary. I think they take the best safety in the draft from Alabama.
Okay. We're on the same side of the ball here. We're even in the defensive secondary. Here's where I have Trey Waynes going, cornerback, Michigan State. I think Harrison Smith over the top. I think Xavier Rhodes as the other cornerback, shutting down the team's number one. In a passing league, in a passing division, remember you have the Packers, Detroit, and the Bears, although they just lost Marshall. If your offense isn't dominant, you better make your defensive secondary dominant if you have a chance in that division.
Agreed. And if Trey Waynes does, I have him going to the Jets. I think if he does slip by the Jets, I think the Vikings are exactly where he's going to go.
Okay. Moving on. Number 12, the Cleveland Browns with their first pick in round one. I have them going with wide receiver Devontae Parker from Louisville. They cannot go into the season with their number one wide receiver being Andrew Hawkins.
No, apparently not.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Josh Gordon can't stay off the hashish.
Yeah, what a shame, man.
He's so talented.
So good, but we won't know anymore because I don't think he's got another shot in the NFL.
I have the opposite side of the ball, Joe.
What do you got?
I got Vic Beasley going here.
Wow.
I think Vic Beasley...
That's a value pick. That's a great pick.
Well, here's the thing. I think Vic Beasley, as I was doing my mock, Vic Beasley kept getting lower and lower, and I kept saying to myself, this guy's too good to keep falling, and I think he helps Cleveland.
Mike Patton, defensive minded.
I think he helps
that
Cleveland.
Makes sense, too. So we're going to go on to number 13, the New Orleans Saints. What do you have here?
New Orleans. I got him taking DN Shane Ray. You already had him going.
Right.
Again, same thing I just said. I think it's a value pick. As I was doing, it's hard to do these mocks. Like, you do these mocks, and all you experts out there, you guys are terrible too. Like, we're terrible, you're terrible, everybody's terrible.
We're better, but they're terrible.
Well, we're definitely better. I mean,
right.
Obviously, but it's hard to do a mock because every time you write a name down, you're like, oh, this guy's too good to go this low. I have Shane Ray going here. I think it's low for him, and I think it's a value pick for the Saints.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm staying on the same side of the ball with you defensively. My favorite player in this draft, defensive end, defensive tackle. Maybe you stand him up in sub packages. Arik Armstead from Oregon. Combine showed that he is fantastic. Again, I am with you.
Great combine.
I'm with you. I don't really fully believe in it, but the athletic ability of this kid could make a defense that much more versatile because you could do so many different things with him. So I have them taking.
I think he's a valuable asset, Joe. I agree
absolutely. Number 14, the Miami Dolphins. This is an interesting pick here.
And going back to what we said earlier with the Sue signing, this changed moments before we went to tape. It changed my mock.
Yeah, what do you have here now?
I have him taking Marcus Peters here now. I'm taking cornerback Marcus Peters from Washington. It completely changed my mock. I had him taking D tackle Malcolm Brown, but now that they have Sue, that's not happening. So Marcus Peters from Washington,
okay,
because they need help in the secondary, in my opinion.
They do. Again, I don't think cornerback is crazy deep.
They got Grimes, but who else?
Right.
You know,
no, you're right.
When you have one and the other, when you have somebody on either side, I mean, it's dynamic.
You got to cut the field in half, so I understand the pick. I think, they let go of Gibson, they let go of Hartline, and all they have is Jarvis Landry. I don't know what they're going to do in free agency, so I had them taking possibly what could turn out to be the best wide receiver when it's all said and done years from now. Dorial Green Beckham from Missouri/Oklahoma.
Dorial Red Flag Green Beckham.
Yeah, I think that he is. I think Joe Philbin can potentially put a little discipline into this kid, and they need offensive help.
Well,
if you're going to pay Tannehill, you better give him weapons.
They definitely need some offensive weapons.
That's what I have.
I don't know if that's the route I'd go.
I listen. I would almost agree with you, but for this mock, it just happens to make sense here.
Number 15, the San Francisco 49ers. Speaking of offensive help, they need wide receivers like you have no idea.
Yeah.
I have them taking Devontae Parker from Louisville.
That's a great pick. He would still be he would be the best wide receiver left on the board on your mock.
In my opinion, yes.
They are going to lose Mike Iupati, I feel, not re-sign him. So I have my first lineman going off the board here, who is
late. That's late.
Very late, I know. But I think linemen are going to drop in this draft. I think this is a kid who could start off at guard and then eventually move to right or left tackle. I'm giving them Brandon Schreff from Iowa here. I think that you got to
very low for him. Very low for him to fall.
Yeah, but you know what? With all these edge rushers going and wide receivers going, somebody has to stop the trend there.
Today's NFL is speed rushes to get to the quarterback because it's a passing league.
That's right.
So I don't totally disagree with you, Joseph.
We're going to do pick 16 now. This is the last pick that we're going to do in 2.0. The Houston Texans. What do you have here?
Houston Texans, I think they need help all across the board, to be completely honest with you. But I'm going to go offensive tackle Lyle Collins from LSU. I think they need to revamp that offensive line. I think they need offensive line help. They could have a little bit of help in the receivers with letting Andre Johnson walk. But I think they address the offensive line here and go, in my opinion, with the third best offensive lineman.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien will revamp this team from the inside out, meaning defensive and offensive line. So I agree with that, and I'm just going with DJ Humphries from Florida. Athletic ability is off the charts for such a large individual.
He's huge. He's huge.
Reminds me of me and you.
No, it reminds me of you.
Well, he wishes he was this good. So I'm going to go with DJ Humphries from Florida. It just makes too much sense. And if you're going to run Arian Foster into the ground, at least give him a great opportunity to succeed.
He doesn't have that many years left.
No, he definitely does. They got Alfred Blue there, too.
Yeah.
Who we both like.
Don't be surprised. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
Don't be surprised if at 16 they go Todd Gurley there, or they go Melvin Gordon there.
It's an interesting spot for them.
It's a very interesting spot because they have a lot of holes that they can fix.
But nothing glaring. Nothing.
They might trade back there too.
It's a great spot to trade back. If a team wants to jump up for another wide receiver to get in front of somebody, that is a great spot for them. That's our 1 through 16 for version 2.0. We'll follow up with 17 through 32 on the next episode.
March 23rd.
That's right.
March 23rd. In 2 weeks, we'll come back to you, and we're going to bring you 17 to 32, right?
Yes, absolutely. As always, remember, we definitely don't know everything.
However,
we definitely know more than you.
Thank you for joining us.
Great show.
It's a great show, Joe.
See you next time.
Adios, amigos.